Hey everybody, and welcome to our review of the third episode of Arrow. This one entitled "Lone Gunman." What was your initial impressions of this episode?
Well, looking back at it, before I rewatched it, I looked at the title and I actually couldn't remember what episode it was. So I guess my initial impression the first time I watched it might be that it was a forgettable one, which I guess it's not. There's not that much to remember about it, although on the other hand, I don't know how I forgot when it does have important parts like the first introduction of one of my favorite characters, or something as important as Diggle finding out about Oliver being the guy in the hood. But as for the rest of the episode, it is a little forgettable. It seemed like a simple, okay, there's a bad guy killing people, we gotta kill him.
Yeah, I guess the interesting thing about this episode is, while yes, it sets up quite a lot of characters and villains who will show up later.
But
There's nothing.
if you haven't seen other stuff, you don't know that.
Yeah, you don't know that Felicity's going to come back. You don't know that Deadshot comes back. There's nothing to indicate that any of these plot lines continue. So at your the first time you watch this, you might think, oh, it's just another episode because it's. However, I think the things that would have kept people going were two things. A, as always, what's going on the island, because we did get a bit of development. That's the one thing I wasn't thinking about much.
Not much, really. Just the guy took him in the cave and seems to be looking after him. Kind of. He tried to run away from the cave and got stuck in a trap. So.
Well, I mean, I guess it starts off with us finally. We know all people were on the island with him, which I suppose we knew last episode with the cliffhanger. But now we spend the episode wondering who this man is, which puts us in the eyes of Oliver because just like both he and us still aren't sure how trustworthy this guy is.
Yeah, especially because he's the only other person we've seen. That brings up the question, did he set that net trap? Or did someone else set it and he's protecting Oliver from it? At that point, we don't know.
I mean, the thing is, we first saw him shoot Oliver, which I don't think Oliver realizes. Then he helps Oliver, but although he's not exactly being the most caring person, but at the same time, his words suggest he is trying to be helpful.
Yeah, he tries to give advice, sort of.
But getting onto it, there were two major points you'd keep going through this episode. One was the island stuff. The other is mainly the cliffhanger, which I suppose we'll talk about near the end, since the most intriguing part isn't actually in the episode. It's just leaving you waiting till the next episode.
Yeah, I guess. That's a good way to make a show interesting, is have something at the end to make you want to see what happens next.
But other than the cliffhanger and the island stuff, I'd say there was about one major plot and two side plots going on in the present. Obviously, you've got the whole Deadshot stuff, which is the most interesting stuff. If you're familiar with DC, I believe Deadshot is a reasonably known character, so I suppose that would hook you. The other two things are both boring. You've got the Thea side plot where she's still annoying, and then the drama with Laurel and Tommy once again, which is still just soap opera drama where nothing has progressed.
Yeah, Thea starts off annoying, but I like that she and her mother came to a sort of an understanding, I guess. They realized they both made some mistakes, I guess. Like, Oliver had to give his mother parenting advice, but then Thea told her that she actually never talked about their dad, and Thea didn't like that.
Yeah, that's the thing is, I think this, for at least on Moira's half, this is the first time she's realized, okay, things need to change with the family dynamic. It's also the first episode where I completely forgot there's an ongoing plot of Moira being suspicious because nothing happened on that regard. The past two episodes have had a cliffhanger with Moira doing something suspicious.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I kind of let that slip by. But I suppose Thea kind of came around, but only in a small way. She's still annoying a lot, though.
And I like seeing the development of both Oliver and Thea's relationship with what's his name? The stepdad guy.
Oh yeah, what was his? No, I forgot his name. It was
Anyway, I like seeing the development of a child, not just a literal child, but someone accepting a step parent in their life, because especially for Oliver, because he got off the island and it's like, well, he's suddenly here, already married to his mother. And yeah, that's something some people can relate to. Some people have a step parent in their life and they have to accept someone new as part of the family. I think that's been hard for both Oliver and Thea to think of that guy as part of the family.
yeah. I forgot. I was going to say something else about that too, but I'm still trying to remember what his bloody name was now.
I don't know.
It was.
Something Steele.
That's right, Walter Steele. But anyway, I was going to say two interesting things about this episode, or one interesting is Deadshot's signature bullet Korari actually does exist in real life. But rather than having some weird poison where you just got to cure yourself by drinking something, it causes kind of a weird. It's sort of like an intense version of sleep paralysis, but it can actually just be cured with chest compressions.
Huh.
Yeah,
Cool.
so that's an interesting fact. But I'm trying to remember. There was another thing I was thinking about that really annoyed
But
me.
I guess in the show, it's not that well known, because I think Oliver felt like he was the only one that could have saved Diggle, because only he knew the cure, I guess.
Yeah, but I suppose, well, that's the thing. It leads into the next episode of Diggle finally doing something, because the first half, it's just normal Diggle stuff, but it wasn't as annoying. But then we finally start to going somewhere, because although it doesn't specify it, we know something's going on with Diggle's family. And then the fact is, Diggle didn't have to chase down Deadshot, but he did.
Yeah. Well, I think he was looking for Oliver because Oliver told him, go take Moira and Thea to safety. And he was like, no, what about you? And he's like, no, not me, them. Go away.
Well, we'll see about that. There's more to it than that, but we'll get to that in the next couple of episodes.
Yeah, plus, yes, you could say on the other hand, he was already getting suspicious. He could have thought, if that is Oliver in the hood, I gotta protect him. It's my job.
I don't think, no, because I don't think Diggle knew about Oliver. There's another reason why he was going up there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but we'll get to that later. So, was there any other points you had left for the episode?
Well, we once again saw Laurel with her friend Joanna. I quite like her, and I'm a little disappointed that eventually we didn't really have Joanna anymore. But what I like about her, even though it is a character trope that is used often, is she's that overly supportive best friend character where, when I say overly supportive, I mean, well, if you're not going to go out and have fun, I'm not going to give you a choice. We're going out tonight. That kind of overly supportive.
I don't know, it just comes off as stereotypical, but at least it's just an excuse so Laurel has somebody to talk to.
Yeah, it's stereotypical, but I like it. But once again, it reminded me of Marinette's best friend Alia in Ladybug. And also similarly, Adrian's friend Nino. They both have that kind of dynamic where they need their friend to kind of push them to do things.
Yeah, but thankfully that doesn't stick around for a while. Thankfully, Laurel gets interesting later on, but for now, Laurel's just annoying. Everything around her is annoying. There's drama. There's Tommy. Honestly, Laurel did... At least last episode, Laurel was actually doing something. This episode, Laurel did nothing. Tommy was just a soap opera character. Thea was annoying. At least she was kind of getting somewhere.
And there you go with Tommy. He is sort of Oliver's version of that best friend. Just, trying to make sure he has fun and stuff.
Yeah, I guess so. It's just, or at least for Tommy, it's to remind us of who Oliver was, since a lot of the world needs to still perceive him that way.
Yeah, yeah. Like Tommy's like very similar to the person Oliver used to be.
Exactly. So yeah, Tommy is basically reminding the audience this is basically Oliver pre-Island.
Yeah, I mean that's the reason they were best friends is they were such similar people back then.
Yeah. Well, the other thing about this, I think the only other thing about this episode is I believe this is the last time where Oliver will continuously narrate to the audience, not counting the opening narration. Oliver in the past 3 episodes have been talking to himself.
Oh yeah,
I
that was weird.
believe that stops here.
Okay, cool. Because now he has people to talk to, now that Diggle knows.
Yeah, I'm still deciding whether I liked this episode or the previous one more. I think I think it's going to be better than the previous one, and I'll give it an 8.
Yeah, it was okay. Like, the point that I managed to forget about it just means that I can't say it's that great for me, but it's still good. I don't know if I should go 6 or 7, but
Well, I mean, I think of the first 3 episodes, this episode definitely has the best villain, and I think it's got the best villain we'll have for quite a while.
mm. And we can't talk about this episode without mentioning one of my favourite characters finally comes along, Felicity.
Yeah, but we're not going to mention her. One thing I will mention is this episode does set up one other both plot thread and mystery. Is there's another thing added to the mystery of Oliver with him now being a brought for captain.
Mm. But anyway, Felicity is already suspicious of something right off the bat. And this also shows us Oliver sucks at lying. Oh, this is my laptop and I spilled a latte on it. But there's bullet holes on it. But she looked in the laptop and saw it as someone else's name registered in it.
Yes, but how is Oliver? But how is Oliver so stupid about computers? He set up the computers in his lair.
Yeah, that is weird. But I guess he doesn't know how to, like, go in and get data from a broken computer.
I guess, but still, it's annoying. And he even references later that he can do things without Felicity, but he keeps depending on Felicity.
Yeah, it's weird, but I like her. She adds some humor to the show. Like, already she babbled on and had some, awkward moments. That's she's what makes the show funny to me.
At least in the first few seasons. This is long before anybody really starts hating Felicity. Especially in season 1 when she's, at least for the first half, she really is just a side character.
Yeah. Like, I watched Flash before watching Arrow, and I loved her on Flash because, she just came along sometimes and she was just funny and, she said awkward things that just gave you a quick one-line laugh.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Well, exactly. That's how Felicity should be and should stay. But we'll get into the problems and the controversies with Felicity much, much later. For now, she's fine. I don't hate her. Nobody really can hate her for a while. She's just a fun little character. And like we said, you don't even really notice she's going to be coming back for a while.
Yeah.
I don't even think she does come back for a while.
Oh, true. There's like a few episodes after this without her.
I honestly can't remember when the next one she shows up and if she's in the next one. That's the thing, I'm going bit by bit with this too, because that's the thing. Unlike a lot of unlike Flash and Legends, Arrow really does blur together. Like, I can remember a lot of the points in season 1, but I can't remember, episode 4 is this thing and episode 5 is that thing. Even when I look at the names of episodes, and like half the time I think, oh wait, what is that name meaning?
Yeah, like this name especially didn't really mean much.
Well, no, I disagree. This episode name does stand out. If you remember, you'll remember easily that this one is the one with Deadshot. Lone Gunman, Deadshot, that's easy. The next one, I actually confused the episode name entirely, thinking it was a whole different episode, but that's for our next episode. So I will probably give it an 8. It was definitely the most enjoyable of the first 3.
Yeah, I'm still tossing between 6 and 7, so I guess it's 6.5.
All right. Well, next we will have on. Well, next time's the 4th episode, and I can't remember what the 4th episode is. So that's for next time.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.